Welcome to Airborne for Thursday from AirVenture 2017 at Whitman Regional Airport. I'm Laura Hudson. On our program today, the annual AirVenture Meet the Boss session. Kitfox Series 7 Speedster debuts. Lancair Re-Envisions their 4-place kit line. Those stories and more are coming up on this AirVenture 2017 edition of Airborne. The FAA Administrators Thursday Morning Forum has become a tradition here at AirVenture. A&N's Tom Patton attended the event and filed this report.
In what will be his final speech as administrator of the FAA at AirVenture, Michael Huerta thanked the EAA and the aviation community for welcoming him as the non-pilot accidental administrator, and said he was proud of what he and the agency have been able to accomplish over the past 7 years. Administrator Huerta said the very definition of aviation has changed during his time as the head of the agency. For instance, he said he has watched unmanned aircraft go from a curiosity to a hobby to what it is today, an entirely new segment of aviation, and that NextGen has fundamentally changed the way pilots use airspace. Through it all, he said, general aviation has been an important partner in the process. Huerta said that BasicMed will be instrumental in helping to maintain the pilot population and that the FAA is not the enemy in the medical certification process.
More than 14,000 people have already completed their online training, and they're now allowed to fly under BasicMed. And even if you have a health issue, I'd encourage you to contact our aerospace medical office. There's this misperception out there that dealing with our medical team is a first step toward losing your license. And nothing can be further from the truth. It is, in fact, we approve the vast majority of requests we receive for special issuance medical certificates. So we're not adversaries. We want you to be able to keep flying, and we just want to work with you to figure out a way that it can be done safely.
Huerta reiterated that the ADS-B out-equipage deadline will not be extended beyond December 31st, 2019, and that all aircraft that fly in controlled airspace on January 1st, 2020 will need to be equipped with ADS-B out. So owners should consider equipping now rather than wait for the prices to go down or the next piece of equipment to be released.
If everyone waits for the new thing to be developed until the last possible minute, you are not going to have capacity within the repair stations and service facilities to actually get it done.
The administrator said that about 12,000 of the $500 ADS-B installation rebates are still available, and that program expires September 18th. Huerta said that recent changes allowing non-certified avionics to be installed in certified airplanes and the Part 23 changes, which will go into effect next month, represent a new way of thinking at the agency.
And as we collaborate with more manufacturers and open up new pathways to approval, it's only going to get easier and faster for us to continue doing so in the years ahead.
Huerta waited until specifically asked about ATC privatization to address that elephant in the room. He acknowledged that the airlines had their position while the GA position is very different, and he said there is a broader consideration in the debate.
My advice to everyone in that is we need to be thinking about what is going to work for the whole community, not what is going to work for my segment of the community. And that just means we need to invest the time and the effort to fully understand where everyone else is coming from as part of this debate and see where there are opportunities to build bridges and to reach agreements on how we're going to solve that problem.
Lastly, also in response to a question, Huerta said the decision about Santa Monica Airport was essentially one about allowing a community to make its own decisions about whether and where to have an airport in compliance with the rules established for federal funding of those airports. The way that the agreement between the city and the FAA is structured, he said, buys some time for the airport.
Personally, I think the settlement arrangement with the City of Santa Monica buys us a very long tail where the airport will continue to operate as an airport, but perhaps with a shorter runway as they work through that process. But where the case needs to be made in terms of the value of having an airport in Santa Monica long term, is not with the FAA, it's with the people of Santa Monica, who need to let their elected officials know that this is something that is important to the larger community there.
Huerta's term as FAA administrator ends in January of 2018, but he said he will very likely return to Oshkosh as a fan of these fantastic gravity-defying machines. At EAA AirVenture 2017 in Oshkosh, I'm Tom Patton.
After the break, there's new airframes at AirVenture.
Since 2001, MGL Avionics has produced avionics for experimental and light sport aircraft. The flagship product is the IEFIS, a comprehensive next-generation flight, engine, and navigation instrument designed to meet the demands of the modern pilot. See more at www.mglavionics.com.
Your Cessna 172 or 177 wants a TrueTrack autopilot, and so do many others. Visit TrueTrackAP.com and get your airplane added to the model list. The TrueTrack Autopilot at TrueTrackAP.com.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Welcome back to Airborne, coming to you this week from EAA AirVenture 2017 in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. If you've seen something around Oshkosh that's really cool, let us know with the hashtag Osh17Cool on your social media post. Tecnam's P2012 Traveler is progressing well. Shannon Yeager, the Director of Tecnam US, gave us an update on the program.
Our announcement here at Oshkosh is that we can confirm that our serial number 2 has completed its assembly. So that's going to keep us more than on pace to get our completion schedule we have, which is in 2018 to have both our EASA and our FAA validation, as well as in 2019 to begin deliveries with our launch customer, Cape Air. Some of the interesting things about the P2012 is, well, the serial number 2 is going to be the conforming prototype. So everything about final production, it is the final template. So that's going to go ahead and accelerate and let us have that parallel path to get us completed. Powering our P2012 is the IE2 series here. This is a 375 horsepower Lycoming, incredible engine, full FADEC, even looks good on the stand, you know, from what I think. But it's a turbocharged, single lever control, push button start, doesn't matter if it's hot or cold. Incredible way to go. The power on this is unbelievable. It's powering some 3-bladed composite full feathering props on this aircraft. And this thing, it just makes it blow right off the ground. I mean, at max gross, we're taking off in no time flat. So this P2012, the whole design behind it is it's going to be looking at that market that needs to go, that 3,500 nautical miles, commercial workhorse, fixed landing gear. So by doing that, we keep that maintenance time down. We're trying to get it reset back to get going. Other thing we're going to be doing for it is specialty operations, paratroopers, parajumping, medical evac stuff, firefighting exercise. We've got lots of opportunities because the rear of the aircraft has 2 doors that will fold open to give you a nice big wide access hatch, or you can close off one side and just have an air stair for access for your passengers. Pilot and co-pilot doors in the front make it a whole lot easier to utilize. Useful loads that are really going to give the old 402 and that Cessna Caravan and the Kodiak a little bit of a run for their money. And we think we got the right product here for the right time.
ANN's Jim Campbell talked to the Lancair's new president, Conrad Huffstutler, about the company's latest offering, the 4-place Mako.
So the Mako is a re-envisionment for Lancair. It's a 4-seat airplane made to compete with some of the other 4-seat fixed gear aircraft out there like the Cirrus or TTX. So we're coming back into market with a kit. We've got a large facility in Uvalde, Texas, and we're planning to do a builder assistance program and kind of help the customer bring the airplane to completion a lot faster than he used to be able to. The Mako behind us is our first prototype. It's made to be a fast airplane. It's got a high useful load, carries a lot of fuel, and it's a cheaper alternative to some of the others that are being sold now. This airplane currently has a Lycoming IO540, which is a departure from the past of Lancair. And we did this because there was a big outreach from the community to have a Lycoming alternative. So there's a couple more options on the engine type. So this one has a normally aspirated IO 540 putting out about 310 horsepower, comparable to the IO 550, and about 13,500 is what I cruised the airplane over at, and we were pulling 17 inches of manifold, so pretty low power setting, and indicating about 185 knots.
A&N's Jim Campbell talked to John McBean about the redesigned Model 7 Speedster, based on one of the best-known Kitfox series from 2 decades ago.
The Series 7 Speedster is basically the Ferrari, the sports car of the Series 7 line of aircraft that we've introduced at Kitfox Aircraft. It's been a lot of fun. 25 years ago, Jimmy Franklin did a routine in the Model 4 Speedster. You're very familiar with that. And fortunately, we were blessed with having Kyle Franklin, his son, 25 years later, be able to fly this airplane in the air show yesterday at Oshkosh. And it's their 50th anniversary for Franklin's Flying Circus as well. So it's kind of a milestone all the way around. The Series 7 Speedster is just like the Model 4 Speedster you flew in the past, except it's a little bit roomier. It's got side-by-side seating. It's roughly as wide as a 172. Powered with the Rotax 912 IS engine, Garmin displays. The clipped wing version is about 3 feet shorter than our stock Series 7 Super Sport wing. And then, of course, everything's streamlined from struts to fairings to all of that. We also have a symmetrical flapper-on system for a quicker roll rate, which was the same as the Model 4 Speedster back in the day.
After the break, Jim Campbell and Jack Pelton hold a conversation.
We started with a 14-inch longer fuselage, high-end interior finishes, Garmin G3000 flight deck, and a fourth window to give additional natural light to the cabin. We then redesigned the wings and horizontal tail, increasing the wingspan by a full 4 feet. Welcome to the jet life.
Redbird Flight Simulations is dedicated to revolutionizing flight training by designing, manufacturing, and delivering affordable and innovative flight training technologies. Each Redbird device is designed to enhance the training experience for pilots of all levels, from student to ATP. Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
The dream is real, a truly affordable personal jet aircraft. The Subsonics Personal Jet Kit is priced at only $42,000. Kit Plus engine is still under $100K. Add instruments, upholstery, and paint and you're flying. It's time to put your money where your bucket list is. Learn more at sonicsaircraft.com.
Welcome back to Airborne Unlimited on Aero-TV, coming to you this week from AirVenture 2017 in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. We all know that the industry is in desperate need of new pilots. In today's discussion, Jim and Jack talk about just how dire the need is and what the solutions might be.
You see some of these Boeing statistics on pilots needed over the next 20 years, mechanics needed. It almost is a one-for-one that everybody that's flying commercially as pilots today are going to retire, and you're going to have to start this replacement cycle, and that's 140,000 pilots.
Well, there's not much you can do about that except train pilots. And the interesting thing is that the flight training industry per se and the folks who are in it, the things that they're coming up with, I can't think of a healthier time for it at any point.
I can't either.
I mean, there's some brilliant stuff out there. You know, Jerry and his gang at Redbird, and some folks doing marvelous things at Elite and elsewhere, and then the major chains and schools are getting past the, well, let's just get, you know, pilots out as quick as we can, to let's build a pilot for the future. And they're doing some great stuff. And of course, there's some amazing work being done overseas.
There is. You know, I think that one of the good news is at least the professional pilot career is getting back on to being more attractive, because the salaries are getting picked up. The regionals are picking up the salaries. We've just got to get kids interested in wanting to pursue that. That's where I think our role at EA is, how do we take those young folks and make that translation from that first flight, hold their interest until they can actually get engaged and involved at age 16 or 17. You know, I look at my grandkids, there's stuff they're exposed to in a positive way that we never had. Before, it was go ride your bike and come make sure you're home for dinner and hang out at the airport and, you know, help or do whatever. But you didn't have all this virtual reality and all the stuff. The technology's there. We're just behind. We really are. We've got to jumpstart this.
I was at ITSEC just before the end of the year. The thing to me that was extraordinary was putting on the gloves, putting on the virtual reality goggles. And I had the entire sensation of visually, orally, physically of flight. And it was incredible. And this is where we're not going to need a full motion simulator per se. We're going to sit in they're going to sit in the chair. They have full motion chairs. Even parts of the chair inflate, deflate in response to G inducement. I mean, you name it, they do it. It's absolutely extraordinary, and the degree of realism is extraordinary.
And then how do we translate that into helping accelerate the training environment? We had a great experience here where one of our staff, Sean Elliott, had his son at 14 with a simulator, a sailplane simulator here in Oshkosh, while his instructor was in the Bay Area, and it was through an app and a camera. And he was going through an on-purpose curriculum in this simulator, which was very low cost. I want to say it was like $1,500, $1,800. And building him up to the ability to go solo. And then they would work on this every week, and it was very, really reduced cost. Then he went back out there to do his actual flying lessons, and he cut the time in half.
Oh,
because he had drilled and drilled and drilled, and had done rope breaks and had done everything he needed to do, and was able to solo on his 14th birthday.
So many of these answers are out there right now, and they fit in with the psychology of the people we're trying hardest to reach, the youngest segment, which is all about their apps and their iPads and this and that, and God bless them because it's really cool, and I'm doing it now myself, so I can't criticize, nor should I.
And the speed of what they're taking things in.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is there's really inductive training methods. One of the things I learned from the Navy simulation group at ITSEC was they're not only talking about teaching, but challenging in terms of judgment, building cognitive skills, and that little sensation in the back of your neck going, I'm heading into trouble, and I need to stop what I'm doing, turn around, whatever, land, you name it. And it's brilliant stuff. It's absolutely brilliant stuff. And I'm excited for it. I really am.
Tomorrow, Jack and Jim will add to their wide-ranging chat with some talk about the health of EAA and diversity in the industry. Well, that's our program for today. We'll be back tomorrow with a look at the day's events from EAA AirVenture 2017 at Whitman Regional Airport in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I'm Laura Hudson. Thanks for watching. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, and do check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. See you tomorrow.